heard about liking strong, silent types like Ken Takakura. I'm an awkward guy. I looked out this morning and the sun was gone. Turned on some music to start my day. Ready for a little train walk, girl?
I know that voice. I know that voice. From demons to outspoken psychics, Abby Trott, she has brought to life some of the anime and gaming's most memorable characters. Now, she's had dozens of personalities over the last few years, and now we actually get to meet the one voice behind them.
Hi, good morning.
How are you? So this is what you look like.
Yes, this is my real self.
Real self.
But as a voice actor, I get to be all these other characters.
I heard those voices, Abby, and I tell you what, it's famous. You're incredibly famous when people get to meet you. You know, people come up to me all the time because mostly I'm on radio, and people, when they recognize my voice versus my face, it kind of blows me away. I mean, if you're standing ordering a burger somewhere and people are like, oh my gosh, and I was just playing you as a character in a video game. Does that come up a lot?
You know, it's funny. Actually, a lot of people don't recognize my regular speaking voice, which I don't know if it's because I do a variety of characters and like some of the voices are different from my own, but I don't often get picked out of a crowd, which I kind of enjoy.
All right, so you make a living behind the microphone, and is your studio in the home? Do you have to go places like that? I mean, what's the kind of like MO that you do?
It depends on the project. So I do have a home studio. It's in my garage. I threw that together in 2020 when I needed to work from home a lot. And every once in a while, I still do a gig from there. I record all my auditions there. And then usually, if I can, I go into the studio to record. That's my preference, because then you get to, you know, see people. The engineer gets to do their job, and I don't have to double duty as voice actor and engineer. So it's always my preference.
Now, I'm going to ask you this question with a lot of respect here, because I get this too. Oh, geez, all you do is sit there behind a microphone and talk. Is this the easiest job in the world, of sitting behind a microphone and just talking and making voices? Or how tough is it in your mind?
Some gigs are, you know, a little easier than others. I did a one-word commercial one time. Literally one word. I walked in, I said the name of the product, and that was the job. That said, to do it well, you know, what are they looking for? There's a lot that goes into, you know, catering to the client and what they need. And then voiceover has such a huge range of things. So like, that one word commercial, there's other jobs like, you know, doing video game work where you might have an accent and you have to really delve into the character. So you need that acting background. So it really depends on the gig, I think, and the person doing it.
I hope you got your chops ready, because I'm asking you to do some voices, maybe asking you to sing over here. But let's begin how you started in this industry, because a lot of people think, oh, how fun it would be to voice a character. You got your start, I think it was a visit or a trip to Japan, obviously where a lot of anime is. Was that the thing that really said, I think I can do this?
You know, it's funny. I went to Japan just as kind of a side quest in between. I studied theater, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with that, if I wanted to be an on-camera actor on stage. So I applied to this program called the JET program, and I was there teaching initially. And then I decided to move to Tokyo to get back to acting and music. So initially, I only got to do a little bit of voiceover in Japan, and once I got a taste for it, I really wanted to focus on that. So then I moved back to the United States. So I was in Japan for 6 years total, moved back to the States, and then started pursuing voiceover specifically, since, you know, as a fan of video games and animation and anime, that was all the stuff that I wanted to do.
Is there a difference? Because I listen to you, and I've done some commercials too, but nothing nearly on the scale you do. Is there a difference between voice acting and acting? And what is that difference?
I think that voice acting is just a type of acting. It is, it's just like, as an actor, you know, on camera, you're using different skill sets, like you're moving in the 3D environment, you're interacting with a scene partner. Whereas voiceover, you don't always get to act with a scene partner. You're focusing obviously on the voice exclusively. So Whereas on camera, I'm never going to portray, for example, a 14-year-old boy. In an anime, as a voice actor, I can do that. So it's still embodying the character. It's still acting. It's just a different type, you know?
There's also a difference between voiceovers, commercials, and dubbing too. And you do a lot of dubbing, and you do it in different languages also. And so how many languages do you speak, and how difficult it is? Obviously, you have to sit there with a timer to make sure that you match up with the animation. So what's the process?
Yeah, so when I dub, so as a native English speaker, I'm dubbing into English from another language. I did study Japanese and I lived there, so I was fluent when I lived there, a bit rusty now, but I also studied Chinese and French. Spanish, I know very little Spanish. And that's the next one on my list that I want to study.
Some of your characters, I was looking at a lot of the videos, and I was actually sending links to some of my kids also. It's like, oh, I know this voice, in terms of Super Mario Brothers, and you go back and forth. But also, can you sing? Have you ever been asked to sing in a lot of these animes?
So every once in a while, if it requires it, I do get to sing. I saw earlier there was a clip from a show I did, Carmen Sandiego. As Ivy, I got to sing a little bit. There's a karaoke scene. If I'm lucky, there's a little singing involved sometimes.
All right, a few bars right now. Come on, just sing it. We just, loosen up, because I know you're going to be here this week, and we'll tell people to see you, but you need to start singing. Give me a little bars of something.
Okay. Come and see me at Animeverse Fest this weekend in Pasadena. That's an original just for you.
This was the promo that I was going to read for this weekend. I do not need that anymore. You did a great job. The sounds of characters, too. We were listening to the first piece over there, and there's a lot of, ooh, ah. Going back, I'm a Speed Racer fan, which was an anime also, which is also dubbed. I mean, I used to imitate Speed Racer. Oh, ah. Give us some of your crazy, the sounds, or what have you been asked to actually do sounds, or the weirdest things that you remember?
For anime, there are definitely like anime specific reactions that we think of when we watch anime. For the clips that I'm seeing from Demon Slayer specifically, Nezuko is a character that doesn't speak a lot through the beginning of the show. So there's a lot of strange noises that she makes. There's a lot of growling. There's a lot of and a lot of feral noises, fighting noises. Yeah. I think the weirdest thing, sorry.
No, keep going. I want to hear what you have to say. Ooh.
Oh, the weirdest thing I think that I got to voice, that's one of my favorite characters ever, is a living rack of ribs from a video game called Bugsnax. The character's name is Ribblepede, and it's kind of like Pokemon, if you're familiar with Pokemon, in that Bugsnax will say their own name. So Ribblepede just says Ribblepede, and he sounds like this.
You're kidding me. That's unbelievable. Like a ventriloquist too. Before we let you go, and we're going to tell people where to find you, can you say in Japanese, have a great day, or great day, Houston?
Yes. So they're not a direct, like in Japan, we wouldn't really say that as a phrase, as a direct translation, but I think it would translate to yoi ichinichi yo.
Oh, look at that. You know what? I'm not going to try to pronounce what you just did, but whatever that is. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to sing where you're going to be this weekend, just like you did, Abby. It's so nice meeting you. You can catch Abby this weekend at Animeverse Fest. And I'm going to stop right there. It's at the Pasadena Convention Center. It is an exciting time for anime and video game fans to come together and enjoy some cosplay, some contest panels, and vendors. For more information about those tickets, I want you to go to greatdayhouston.com.